A video of my boyfriend proposing to his secretary goes viral. Everyone gushes over how romantic and touching it is. His secretary even posts on social media, "I've waited so long for you to appear, and I'm glad I didn't give up. I'll leave my life in your hands, Mr. Emerson." One of the top comments reads, "God, this is so sweet. A CEO and his secretary. I ship them." I don't cry or make a scene. Instead, I close the webpage and ask my boyfriend for an explanation. That's when I overhear him talking to his friends. "I didn't have a choice," he says. "She would have been forced to marry someone she doesn't love if I didn't help her. What about Vicky? She's your actual girlfriend. Aren't you afraid she'll get mad? So what if she does? She's been with me for 7 years. She can't live without me." Later, I have my own wedding on the same day as his. Our cars pass each other, and I exchange bouquets with his secretary. When he sees me, he breaks down. "Mom, I will. I'll marry the person you chose for me," I said quietly in the dim living room. My voice sounded stiff and hollow. My mom was shocked. "I thought you didn't want to get married. Why now?" "Marriage isn't a game, Vicky. You don't have to want it, but you must be sure of your choices. Don't rush." Her words made me cry. "Mom, I've decided. You can go ahead with the wedding plans." She sighed softly, her tone filled with concern. "Your dad and I always knew your relationship with Isaac wouldn't last. He never made it official, never introduced us to his family." Her words cut deep. "Your dad and I think Henry Langford will be the right husband for you. He's decent, from a good family. You deserve the best, Vicky." I took a deep breath. "Thanks, Mom. I trust your judgment. Should I arrange a meeting with Henry?" she asked. "No need. You can keep planning the wedding," I replied. After the call, Isaac appeared behind me with a small cake. "What wedding? Who's getting married?" "It's my wedding." "I'm getting married," I said quietly. He blinked, confused. "Nothing. A friend's wedding," I added quickly. Seeing him relax hurt me. Was he worried I'd force him to marry me? Or that I'd found out about Jenny? "I got your favorite cake from your favorite bakery. Want it now?" Isaac asked. He used to bring me treats after work. Most weren't my taste, but it made me feel loved. Now, staring at the cake, I felt only irony. Recently, Jenny had shared several Instagram stories publicly. I couldn't look away. That's when I realized how ridiculous I had been. The cake was Jenny's favorite. Everything Isaac brought home was for her. His habit of bringing me sweets started after Jenny began working with him. Who had he been thinking about all this time, me or her? I swallowed my bitterness. "I don't like sweets. They're too rich. Stop buying them." Isaac looked shocked. "What? You always loved sweets. We've been together so long." If he truly cared, wouldn't he know my tastes by now? "I've changed," I said simply. Isaac had been busy lately, too busy to remember my birthday. I didn't care anymore. But then, out of nowhere, he tried to make it up to me by buying tickets to my favorite musical. It was almost impossible to get those tickets. When he said he had to and asked me to go, I said yes immediately. But on the day of the show, he never came. Later, Jenny posted a photo of 2 concert tickets with the caption, "Got bored, so we decided to go to a concert." Having someone who's always down for your random plans is the best. She didn't show faces, but I knew that hand, the scar on it. Isaac's scar. The one he got years ago saving me. I stood outside the theater in the rain, feeling like a fool for worrying something had happened to him, while he sat in the VIP section with his precious secretary. Rain hit my face like ice. My phone buzzed, it was Mom. She said the wedding was set for 2 weeks from now but could postpone if I needed more time. I texted back, "It's fine. Let's keep it that way." Hours later, Isaac called. "Why aren't you home?" "I'm at the Randall Theater," I said flatly. A pause. Then, "Sorry, something came up earlier." "Wait there. I'll come get you." I didn't refuse, but deep down, I knew he wouldn't come, and I was right. Jenny posted another story soon after, "Didn't want to catch a cold, so my amazing CEO made me chicken soup. A man who cooks is a man worth marrying." Isaac stood by the stove in the photo. I glanced at it and closed the app. The rain must have gotten to me because I fainted. Later, I told Isaac I'd moved to the guest room so he wouldn't catch it. To my surprise, he stayed home to take care of me, which only made me feel worse. "It's just a cold," I said. "I'm an adult. Go back to work." He frowned. "You used to beg me to stay whenever you were sick. What's going on with you?" "I was childish before. I won't be anymore." "Vicky, are you okay?" "I'm fine. You should go." When he left, I finally felt I could breathe. The next morning, Mom sent me a full wedding plan and dozens of dresses to choose from. I was scrolling through them when Isaac appeared. He snatched my phone, frowned. "Why are you looking at wedding dresses? Trying to pressure me into marriage?" "I told you, Vicky, you don't need to play tricks like this. It's pathetic." "You misunderstood," I tried to say, but he waved me off. "I'm busy. Stop doing this, it only drains the love I have for you." The door slammed. I stood there, half laughing. "How much love do you even have left, Isaac?" Later, he posted a photo of Jenny and their wedding invite. "You're amazing. I had to marry you so I wouldn't lose you." Within minutes, comments flooded in. Then the post disappeared, but Jenny's didn't. He called. I didn't answer. I wasn't even devastated, just numb. They were getting married on the same day as me. When Isaac came home, I pretended to be asleep. He checked my temperature, his floral cologne filling the air. "Did you see something, Vicky?" he asked. "No, it's cold. I just want to sleep." The next morning, I began cleaning, erasing every trace of us. I threw away all the couple items, the gifts, the memories. When Isaac came home, I tossed our photo album into the fire. He rushed to grab it, burning his hand. "Are you insane? Don't you know how important this is?" "It was moldy," I said calmly. "I copied everything. We can make a new one." He softened. "You've seemed down lately. Is work stressing you out? I signed you up for a trip. You should go relax." "Alone? I'm swamped at work." "Next time, we'll go together." "There won't be a next time," I whispered to myself. That night, I overheard him on the phone. "I won't tell her. I'll send her away during the wedding." "So what then? You'll make her your mistress?" the other person asked. Isaac was silent, then muttered, "I'll take it step by step." 7 years wasted. If he didn't love me anymore, why lie? "When do I leave?" I asked. 2 days from now." "Okay, I'll go." He smiled with relief. "Let's have dinner before you go." Tomorrow was our 7th anniversary. I wanted closure. The next day, I arrived early at the restaurant he'd chosen. He was there, with Jenny. "Hi, Vicky," Jenny chirped. Mr. Emerson and I were in a meeting nearby, so I tagged along. "Hope that's okay." I forced a smile. The dinner I'd planned as goodbye turned into their date. When the fire alarm suddenly blared, people panicked. Isaac immediately hugged Jenny and led her to safety. For a moment, I remembered the boy who once shielded me. "It's okay," I said softly when he looked at me, panicked. "I understand." Soon it was time for the trip. I packed my bags and disappeared. I didn't travel, I went home to my parents. I was about to get married. On my wedding day, I met Henry Langford for the first time. My parents had been right, he was perfect. The ceremony was grand. As my car joined the bridal procession, another approached from the opposite direction. Tradition said the bride should exchange bouquets for blessings. When the windows lowered, Isaac and I locked eyes from our separate cars. His expression twisted in shock. His lips trembled. "Vicky. How can it be you?" The sound of car horns and wedding drums blurred into a strange symphony as our processions passed each other. For a single moment, time stopped. Isaac's eyes were wide, disbelief written all over his face. Jenny sat beside him, radiant in her lace gown, clutching the bouquet I had just handed her through the car window. I didn't flinch. My lips curved into the calmest smile I'd ever worn, a smile that said you lost. The driver started moving again, and soon his car disappeared from view. I turned my gaze forward, breathing deeply, the scent of lilies mixing with the faintest trace of gasoline. My heart didn't ache anymore. It just felt quiet. When I arrived at the Langford estate, photographers and guests surrounded us like a sea of flashlights. Henry walked up to me, offering his arm with an easy smile. "You look beautiful, Victoria." His voice was steady, almost grounding. "Thank you," I whispered, letting him lead me inside. The ceremony was elegant, understated, exactly what my mother had planned. Soft piano music echoed through the hall. Henry's vows were brief but sincere. When it was my turn, I read from the card my mother had written for me, every word deliberate, detached, yet strangely freeing. "I promise to be loyal, patient, and truthful. To stand beside you through calm and storm, and to never forget that love is a choice made every day." When the officiant announced us husband and wife, applause erupted. My mother wiped her tears, my father clapped proudly, and all I could think about was how somewhere across town, Isaac was standing under a similar arch, kissing a woman who had once been my shadow. Except his smile, unlike mine, was trembling. After the reception, when the crowd thinned, Henry approached me. "You don't seem nervous at all," he said with a teasing look. "Most brides are." I smiled faintly. Maybe I already lived through my worst heartbreak. He didn't cry. He simply nodded. "Then let's make sure this one brings peace instead." That night, I sat in the bridal suite, staring at the wedding ring on my finger, simple, elegant, gold. It felt foreign, but it didn't suffocate me. I poured myself a glass of wine and checked my phone. My notifications were flooded, old classmates, colleagues, even distant relatives congratulating me. And then, one message stood out, from Isaac. "Isaac, why didn't you tell me?" A bitter laugh escaped me. I typed back. "Me, he never asked." He replied instantly. "Isaac, you married Henry Langford? Is this some kind of revenge?" I hesitated for a moment before answering. "Me, no, Isaac. It's just closure." Minutes later, he sent another message. "Isaac, Jenny's crying. She thinks it's her fault. You know I never meant to hurt you, right?" My fingers froze above the screen. For 7 years, he had rewritten every wrong he did, painting himself as the misunderstood hero. I stared at his words until they blurred. Then I deleted the entire conversation. Across the room, Henry was removing his tie. "Everything okay?" he asked. "Yes," I said, slipping the phone away. "Just ghosts." He smiled gently. "Let's not invite them into our future." The next morning, my mother called, her tone bright. The ceremony was perfect. "Everyone loved it, sweetheart. And Henry's family is so kind. I knew he'd take care of you." I murmured agreement, but my thoughts were elsewhere. What was Isaac doing at that exact moment? Was he waking up beside Jenny, or pacing his study, wondering if I'd finally slipped from his control? Later that day, I got my answer, not from him, but from the internet. Photos from Isaac's wedding flooded social media. A luxury hotel rooftop, white roses, crystal chandeliers. Jenny looked stunning. And Isaac, standing beside her, looked hollow. In one of the videos, he turned away mid-ceremony, his hand trembling as if trying to suppress something. Someone in the comments joked, "Looks like the groom's thinking of his ex." I turned off my phone and exhaled slowly. The universe, it seemed, had a strange sense of humor. Days passed. My life with Henry began like a careful dance. He was polite, patient, and quietly observant. We shared breakfasts in the sunroom, dinners with both families, and long walks in the garden where he'd ask gentle questions. "Do you believe in love at first sight?" he once asked. "I used to," I said. "Now I believe in peace." He smiled. "That's rarer, and harder to keep." He didn't pry into my past, and I didn't offer it. But I could tell he knew, maybe not every detail, but enough to handle me with quiet understanding. One evening, a week after the wedding, Henry came home carrying an envelope. "This was dropped off for you," he said. The handwriting on it made my stomach twist. It was Isaac's. Inside was a single photo, our old apartment, empty now, with a caption, "You left everything behind, even the key. Are you really not coming back?" I folded the photo and placed it in the drawer without a word. Henry watched me closely. "Do you want to talk about it?" "No," I whispered. "There's nothing left to say." That night, I dreamed of fire, the album burning, Isaac's hand reaching for it, his voice shouting, "Don't you know how important this is?" When I woke, the world felt heavier but quieter. 2 months later, Henry's company held a charity gala. It was my first public appearance as Mrs. Langford. I wore a black velvet gown and smiled for the cameras, every flash like a tiny thunderclap. As the event went on, I noticed familiar faces, socialites, executives, and then, at the edge of the crowd, him. Isaac. He stood by the bar, looking older somehow. Jenny was nowhere in sight. His eyes met mine across the room, the noise fading into a slow, sharp silence. He approached, hesitant, his voice trembling. "Vicky. You look different." "Marriage does that to people," I said softly. He laughed weakly. "So it's real. You and him." "It is." "I never thought you'd actually go through with it." "Neither did I replied. "But you taught me what not to wait for." He flinched, guilt flickering across his face. "Jenny and we're not." "I don't want to know," I interrupted. "Whatever you've done, it's no longer my concern." He swallowed hard. I miss you." "Then you should have thought of that before proposing to someone else." Henry appeared beside me then, his arm resting lightly around my waist. "Everything all right, love?" "Yes," I said, turning toward him with a small smile. "Everything's perfect." Isaac's jaw tightened. He looked like he wanted to say more, but the words died in his throat. As Henry led me toward the exit, I heard Isaac call after me, barely above a whisper. "You've changed, Vicky." Without looking back, I said, "I had to. You left me no choice." That night, as we drove home, Henry reached over and gently took my hand. "You handled that with grace." "I handled it with experience," I murmured, watching the city lights fade through the window. "Pain makes good teachers." He smiled faintly. "Then I'll make sure your lessons are finally over." For the first time in years, I believed him. But fate wasn't done with Isaac, or with me. Because 2 weeks later, a delivery arrived at my doorstep. Inside was a single black envelope addressed to Mrs. Victoria Langford. And the sender's name was Jenny Emerson. The envelope was heavy for its size, matte black with my name written in a careful hand, Mrs. Victoria Langford. No return address. No crest. Just a thin seam of glue holding whatever waited inside. Henry found me in the foyer, still standing there in my coat, staring at it like it might detonate. He set his briefcase down and searched my face. "Do you want me to open it?" he asked. "I should," I said. "It is addressed to me." We walked to the kitchen. I slid a butter knife under the flap and lifted it cleanly. Inside were 3 things: a key on a blue hotel tag, a slim silver flash drive, and a single card with 4 words in neat ink. "Please hear me out, Jenny." I looked at Henry. He nodded once. "We can check the drive on the laptop here. If it seems unsafe, I will pull it." I plugged the drive in. 3 files appeared. The first was a video titled rehearsal_cut.mp4. I pressed play. A rooftop. Roses in buckets. A planner barking into a headset while a photographer adjusted lights. Isaac stood at the edge of the frame, tie loosened, eyes on the city like he would rather be anywhere else. Jenny walked in wearing a simple dress and sneakers, hair in curlers, fingers twisted together. The planner clapped. "Okay, Mr. Emerson, as discussed. You kneel when she reaches the center. We will do a few takes before we bring in the hired crowd. Remember to pause for the drone." Isaac stared at him. "We are rehearsing a proposal?" "The viral assets must feel organic," the planner said cheerfully. "Your PR signed off. Your board was explicit. We want warmth, romance, protection. The market loves a devoted man." Isaac rubbed his jaw. "Make it fast." The video jumped. The second take ran smoother. Jenny's smile did not reach her eyes. When the director yelled cut, she leaned in and whispered something that the mic still caught. "I am sorry," she said. "I know what you are giving up." Isaac did not answer. He just looked at the skyline like it was speaking for him. I stopped the recording. My hand had gone cold. Henry was very still beside me. Next file, he said softly. The audio file was dated the week before the weddings. Voices, a scrape of a chair, a long exhale. Male voice 1, smoky and older, you will keep your end. The vote needs to pass. The Emerson name stabilizes us. Everyone gets out of this alive. Isaac, you dragged her into it without her consent. Male voice 1, you dragged her into it when you refused to choose. This is the cleanest way. Keep the girlfriend out of sight. Keep the headlines sweet. After the merger vote, unwind whatever you like. A beat of silence. Isaac again, low, and if I do not? Then I close the credit lines to your partners. And the girl becomes a headline for real. Understand me clearly, Mr. Emerson. Henry reached over and paused the audio. He did not speak for a long moment. When he did, his voice was measured. This confirms pressure. It does not erase what he did to you. I know, I said. But it explains the choreography. The last file was a scan, a prenuptial addendum. Parties, Isaac Emerson and Jennifer Chen. Clause 7, physical relations shall be at the discretion of both parties. No marital consummation is required, and no inference of fault shall be drawn from the absence of such relations. Clause 9, after a 6-month lockup period tied to the corporate vote described in Appendix C, either party may dissolve the union without penalty. I closed the laptop. The key on the table flashed blue under the kitchen lights. Printed on the tag, Eden Hotel, room 1908. Henry turned it over in his palm. If you go, I will go with you. If you prefer not to go, I will handle it. I want this finished, I said. Then we can lock the door behind it. The Eden Hotel bar was too bright and too floral, like it was trying to smell like spring. We took a table in the corner. At 7:10, Jenny walked in alone. No makeup. No ring. She looked like a girl after finals, flattened by too much caffeine and not enough sleep. Thank you for coming, she said, hands clasped on the table. Mr. Langford. Victoria. Her eyes flicked to Henry, then back to me. She did not sit until I nodded. I sent the drive, she said. I thought you should see the truth from me, not from a stranger with a blog. You could have sent it months ago, I said. I did not raise my voice. I did not need to. I thought I could carry it. That it would settle after the vote. It will not. She drew a breath. My family signed promissory notes with the wrong men, and the wrong men wanted a public fairy tale to wash their names. I did not want to marry Isaac. He did not want to marry me. He asked for time. They gave him a deadline. So you rehearsed the proposal, I said. And you posted love letters in public while he hid me as a problem to solve. Jenny winced. I posted what they told me to post. When I posted anything that sounded like me, it was deleted in minutes. That cake he brought you? It was meant for me. They wanted us to be seen liking the same things. The illusion of intimacy at scale, they called it. The board. The planners. The men on that call, Henry said. She nodded. Yes. They are not subtle. But Isaac made his own choices too. He took the call. He told them he would send you out of town so you would not be humiliated. He said he would minimize your exposure. He said you deserved better than a public implosion. Minimize my exposure, I repeated. What a tender phrase. Jenny swallowed. He thought he was protecting you. He was also protecting himself. Both things were true. He is not a monster. He is a coward in love. Is this the part where you ask me to forgive him? I asked. No, Jenny said. She looked directly at me. This is the part where I ask you to protect yourself. They will not like that the drive left my hands. When the vote fails, they will find a face to blame. They will try to make that face yours. Henry sat forward. You expect the vote to fail. I withdrew my support this morning, she said. I told them I would not stand beside Isaac at the meeting. I also filed a statement with counsel describing what I was pressured to do. I do not know how far that statement will travel by tomorrow, but I am done playing their mascot. For the first time since she arrived, I believed her. The bravado I remembered from her social media was gone. What sat across from me was just a tired woman who had run out of borrowed lines. What do you want from me? I asked. Nothing, she said quickly, then corrected herself. No. One thing. If you testify or if you are asked to comment, tell the truth. Do not let them turn you into a jealous trope. I owe you that much. Henry glanced at me. I nodded. I tell the truth or I say nothing. Those are the only two things I know how to do. Jenny pushed a second envelope across the table. It was thinner than the first, sealed in red. If anything happens to me, give this to the press or to regulators. Do not open it unless you must. It names names you do not want in your mouth. I did not take it. Henry did, sliding it into his inside pocket without looking. Where is Isaac now? I asked. At the office, Jenny said. He is trying to negotiate his way out, as if there is a magic sentence that will please men who do not understand the word no. We left her at the bar with a glass of water and a hotel key of her own. Outside, the air had the sharp taste of a storm thinking about us. On the drive home, Henry kept one hand on the wheel and one hand on mine. We can get ahead of this, he said. Statement through counsel. A controlled posture. We will not let their mess drip onto your name. I do not want to be the story, I said. You are not, he said. You just happen to be in their frame. There is a difference. That night, I slept without dreams. In the morning my phone was a wall of alerts. A scheduled post had fired from Jenny's account at 6 a.m. a black square. White text. I resigned from the narrative you scripted for me. The proposal rehearsal footage and audio files will explain the rest. I am safe. Do not come to my apartment. The keys have been returned. Links sat below the caption. The same files on my flash drive, now living on a journalist's server. The clip of the planner saying viral assets was already climbing in views. The comments were a storm. By noon, reporters were calling my old number. By 1, there were vans outside the Langford gate. By 2, the Emerson stock ticker had turned red. At 3, my mother texted, all in caps, stay inside, and then a softer message, we will bring dinner upstairs, sweetheart. At 4, a blocked number called. I let it roll to voicemail. 30 seconds later, a message appeared. Isaac. Dickie, he said, voice hoarse. Please. Not for me. For yourself. Do not answer the door for anyone you did not invite. Do not meet anyone alone. They are going to make this ugly and fast. I am trying to contain it. I should have said everything earlier. I am sorry. I will be at Northbridge Atrium at 7. If you come, I will tell you everything. If you do not, I will understand. I listened to it twice. I did not know which part angered me more, the warning he should have given me a year ago, or the certainty that even now he believed his words could pull me back into his orbit. Henry came into the study and leaned on the doorframe. He called? He wants to meet. 7. Northbridge. Do you want to go? He asked. There was no edge in his voice, only a clear offer. I want to close the door properly, I said. With both hands. We go together, he said. Public place. In and out. No improvisation. We left at dusk. The atrium was a glass cathedral over water, a place built for announcements and winter light. Security hovered near the doors. A handful of people watched the darkening sky from the railing as if waiting for the weather to decide. Isaac stood alone at the far end, back to us, looking smaller than I remembered, like grief had put him through the wash. When he turned, 1,000 conversations collapsed into one line. His eyes went straight to mine and then flicked to Henry at my side. He nodded to Henry first. Mr. Langford, he said. Mr. Emerson, Henry replied, even and polite. Then Isaac faced me. Thank you for coming. Say what you brought me here to hear, I said. I did not sit. Neither did he. He laced his burned hand behind his back, a reflex I had seen 100 times. They will try to use you to steady me, he said. They will say you are unstable, that you pushed Jenny, that you broke into rehearsals, that you wanted to ruin our reputations. They will invent texts with your name on them. They will make you my ghost. You cannot reason with a machine like that. You can only stand outside of it. I already stand outside it, I said. You are the one who kept me at the edges of every room. He took that and did not look away. I deserve that, he said. I deserve more. I am not asking for another chance. I'm asking for your permission to tell the truth using your name when I say I failed you. It matters that I say it. You do not need my permission to tell the truth, I said. You only ever needed courage. Something in his face broke, small and private. I loved you, he said quietly. Not well. Not right. But I did. I thought I could hold everything at once. That if I just worked harder, the board would settle, the men would stop circling, Jenny would be safe, you would be safe, and I could return to you intact. I was wrong. I lost you in my bargain with fear. The atrium lights hummed. The fountain threw blue coins on the ceiling. I felt Henry's presence beside me like a hand at the small of my back. You are late, I said. But yes. Tell the truth. Stop hiding behind euphemisms. Do not say minimize exposure ever again. A half-smile ghosted across his mouth, then died. He nodded. Henry checked his watch. We should go, he said. There is a line between closure and theater, and I would like my wife on the right side of it. As we turned, a man in a charcoal suit stepped out from behind a column near the stairs. Not security. Not press. He carried a thick envelope and an expression like wet granite. Mrs. Langford? He asked. Henry moved between us. You can address me. The man extended the envelope around him, arm long, posture unhurried. For your wife. From parties who would like this to end quietly. Consider it a proposal of peace and a request. I did not take it. What request? He smiled without warmth. Do not testify. Do not share additional materials. Do not meet with counsel for the commission. In exchange, your name disappears from every narrative, and your family will not be dragged on camera. And if we decline? Henry asked. The man tipped his head toward the glass, where the city glowed like a patient animal. Then by morning, he said, the story will not be about Mr. Emerson at all. He set the envelope on the bench and walked away as if he had just delivered fresh flowers. Isaac looked at it like it was a snake. I stared at it for a long breath, then longer. The fountain hissed. Somewhere above us, thunder muttered a warning. Do not touch it, Henry said calmly. I did not. I reached for his hand instead. Take me home, I said. Behind us, Isaac called my name once, the way you call a train you already know you will miss. I did not turn. On the ride back, my phone buzzed again. A single new message from an unknown number. No greeting. No name. Just a photo of the envelope we had refused, torn open on a marble floor I did not recognize, documents fanned like a hand of cards. And a line of text. You should have taken the deal. The message sat on my phone screen like a curse, you should have taken the deal. Henry pulled over without a word, his knuckles pale on the steering wheel. The photo of the opened envelope gleamed faintly in the dark, the documents inside scattered like a warning. He met my eyes. This isn't a threat we can ignore. I know, I said quietly. But we can't hide either. At home, we locked the doors, called our attorney, and handed over every file Jenny had given us. Henry's legal team moved fast, submitting the recordings to the authorities and storing encrypted copies off-site. I didn't sleep that night. The rain hammered the windows like it wanted in. By morning, the world had changed. News broke that Isaac's company, Emerson Group Holdings, was under federal investigation for fraud, false disclosures, and market manipulation. Reporters swarmed the streets, anchors repeating the same phrases: fabricated proposal, coerced marriage, investor cover-up. Jenny's statement had gone viral, sparking a chain reaction. Other employees came forward, and the documents she'd leaked began confirming a web of corruption far beyond anyone's imagination. But the relief I expected never came. At noon, Henry received a call. His face turned gray as he listened. What happened? I asked. He lowered the phone slowly. Jenny's car was found near the river. No sign of her. Police are calling it an accident for now. I felt the world tilt slightly. An accident? Too soon to tell. He reached for my hand. She might have gone into hiding. We don't know yet. The next few days blurred together, press briefings, lawyers, constant calls from people wanting my side of the story. The irony was unbearable. For years I had been invisible, and now the world couldn't stop staring. Then, on the fourth night, Isaac showed up. It was nearly midnight. The doorbell rang, and when I opened the door, he stood there drenched, rain dripping from his hair, eyes bloodshot and wild. "Vicky," he said hoarsely. "They got to her. Jenny's gone." I didn't invite him in, but he stepped across the threshold anyway. Henry appeared in the hallway, expression unreadable. "Get to the point," Henry said coldly. Isaac's hands trembled as he pulled something from his pocket, a torn piece of red sealed paper. The same kind Jenny had given me. "She mailed this to me before she disappeared," he said. "It names every board member involved, every shell company used to launder investor funds. If it reaches the commission, half the industry collapses." "And you want what?" I asked. He met my gaze, guilt carving lines across his face. "I want you to release it. If I do it, they'll call it damage control. But if you make it public, it will mean something. They can't touch you." I almost laughed. "You mean they can't afford to touch me?" He swallowed. "Maybe. But you're the only person left who can finish what she started." Henry stepped forward. "You've done enough damage, Emerson. If you want redemption, turn yourself in." Isaac's voice broke. "You don't understand. They've already silenced one woman. If we wait, they'll bury this too." The rain outside intensified, lightning slicing across the sky. I stared at the letter in his shaking hand, the last thing Jenny had written. I remembered her eyes in that hotel bar, hollow but brave. I took it. "If this destroys you, Isaac, are you ready for that?" He looked at me, and for the first time, there was no arrogance in his face. It already did. That night, I scanned every page, encrypted them, and sent the files directly to multiple journalists and regulators. Then I forwarded the same package to Henry's lawyers, ensuring no single copy could vanish. By dawn, the world had it. At 8 a.m., the headlines exploded. Jenny Emerson's final statement reveals massive corporate conspiracy. Whistleblower couple exposes systemic fraud. Victoria and Henry Langford cooperate with federal inquiry. Emerson CEO missing after leaked files surface. The last one made my stomach twist. Isaac hadn't gone home after leaving my house. His car was found abandoned on the bridge at sunrise. No body. No note. Only his watch, cracked, half submerged in water. I didn't cry. I didn't even know if I could anymore. Weeks passed. Investigations continued. The media lost interest when the next scandal appeared. Henry's firm weathered the chaos, his quiet strength a constant in the noise. One evening, months later, I stood alone in the garden behind our house. The air smelled of wet earth and jasmine. The world felt strangely still, no cameras, no whispers, no lies. Henry joined me, holding 2 cups of tea. "It's over," he said softly. "The board's been dismantled. The government froze their assets. Jenny's statement is officially archived in the case record." "And Isaac?" I asked. He hesitated. "Still missing." I stared out at the horizon. Maybe that's his peace. Henry touched my hand. "And yours?" I smiled faintly. "Peace isn't something you find. It's something you build." He nodded. "Then let's keep building." Later that night, as I closed my laptop, a new email appeared. No sender, no subject line, just a single attachment, a photo. It showed a quiet coastal town at sunset. In the corner of the frame, blurred but unmistakable, stood a man in a linen shirt, watching the sea. The message beneath it read, "Thank you for finishing what I couldn't." No signature. But I knew that handwriting. I stared at it for a long time, the waves in the picture frozen mid-motion, light bending around the horizon. Then I closed the laptop, turned off the lamp, and let the silence settle. For the first time in years, it didn't feel empty. It felt earned.